Enter the realm of KSBM Radio's creation. Student-led from inception to narration. Crafting content from dawn until dusk. All students involved in the work and the fuss. In the heart of Townview where voices reside. Student-led discussions where ideas collide. From interviews with leaders, peers, and businesses. Just watch us work, creating innovative content. Every aspect managed with student finesse. From podcast production to social media press. No task too daunting, no challenge too grand. KSBM Radio, we taking a stand. KSBM Radio, students leading the way. Every task idea, we seize the day. Witness now as all of our efforts break through. KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm Lulu, here with my co-host,
Pingu,
Mars,
and Glossy.
And today we're continuing our SBM 50 and TMZ 30 Alumni Series, celebrating graduates who are making an impact in their career and communities. Our guest today is Miss Alycia Long, a proud graduate of the School of Business and Management, class of 2007. After graduating from Townview, she attended trade school to sharpen her technical skills, then stepped into entrepreneurship by opening her own small business. Today, she continues her professional journey as spa team lead at Horseshoe Bay Resort, combining leadership, business insights, and hands-on experience in the hospitality industry. Her story shows how the standards and expectations set at BMC give students the confidence to build, create, and lead long after graduation. Miss Long, welcome back to Townview. We're so glad to have you here. Is there anything you'd like to share to our listeners before we begin?
Well, thank you guys for having me here today, and I'm looking forward to imparting some of my wisdom on you guys.
Thank you. So, for our first question, how did you first hear about Townview, and what made you choose the School of Business and Management?
So I went to it was called DECA back in the day, the Dallas Environmental Science Academy, and they encouraged a lot of the students to look into magnet high schools. So I applied to Townview, got accepted to, at the time it was called BMC Magnet, and started my business management studies here in Townview.
Okay, and what was your student life like for you during your time at Townview?
Student life was great. I made a lot of friends. I appreciated all the other magnets that were here and getting to have classes with all of them. But on top of that, learning kind of the basics to business and what that would look like, and potentially looking forward to what my life would look like if I continued in the business field.
Okay, I heard you mention DECA. So were you involved in any clubs, organizations, or programs that help shape your interests or goals?
Yes, so I was in DECA here at Townview, and we did competitive, business management and small business ideas and concepts. And so that really shaped me into kind of having a little bit of a footstool on what it would look like if I did open my own small business.
Okay, and then what teachers or classes do you think had the biggest influence on you after graduation?
The biggest class for me personally that had the biggest influence was my work-study program. Being able to learn how to have a program where I went to school for part of the day and then I went to work the other part of the day helped me figure out how to be an adult a little bit and how to manage putting your education but also career on the same path.
So during your time at DECA and at SBM, are there any lessons or habits that have stuck with you the most?
A couple of habits are first impressions always matter. So you dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. And then also how you communicate, how you present yourself, and a firm handshake could go a really, really long way.
And when you think back at your years at Townview, what memory stands out to you the most?
Well, there was one year I didn't get to come to school because we had President Bush come to campus, and so we had a field trip that day, and so I wasn't allowed to come to school because everything was locked down, but it was really neat that the Blue Ribbon Award was presented to Townview one of the years that I was here, so that was really cool.
Okay, and can you explain what the Blue Ribbon Award means for Townview?
So the Blue Ribbon Award was an award that was presented to one of the magnets for academic achievement and making big waves in education. And so that year it was presented to Townview by President Bush.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, after graduating, you attended trade school. What led you to take that path, and what did you study there?
So I am currently a medical massage practitioner. So the trades that I went into was for massage therapy, but massage therapy is a very basic level, and then I continued my education further. But doing that, I decided to go with the trades because I was a little bit burnt out of school whenever I graduated, and it really propelled me further into my career and making, I guess, kind of jump-starting my career. So that I didn't have to spend as much time in college as most people do. The trades are a great way to just kind of jumpstart that. Doesn't mean you surpass, but education looks different on different levels, and it doesn't mean you stop learning if you don't go to college.
And then, how did your trade school experience prepare you for your first step into the workforce?
Well, trade school prepared me in the sense that it gave me a lot of the basics of what I needed to do to succeed. But then it was kind of up to me to decide what path I wanted to take in that. But something that I always think back on is because I went to the business magnet, I always had the confidence to be able to open a small business. And so that was something that really appealed to me once I got my trades under my belt.
So with you starting your own business, what inspired you to start your own business, and what are some things that you learned from your experience?
So I was inspired to start my own business because I was a single parent, and I liked the idea of kind of being my own boss. But a lot of people don't tell you that when you're your own boss, you end up working a little bit more than what you originally think. So in that, I definitely wanted to do a business in a way that that I felt good about, that I felt confident about, and that spoke to me as a person and the type of things and services that I wanted to present to other people. And so that just helped me do that. But then also too, I learned that sometimes it is nice to have a boss that kind of writes your own paycheck versus you doing it yourself.
And how did those skills open the door for your current position in Horseshoe Bay Resort?
So because I was a small business owner and I knew my own business, it helped me to efficiently put myself in a position where I could help another business run efficiently. So I started off as just a kind of regular massage therapist, but working for myself, but then also being in a corporate setting propelled me and encouraged me to learn more in a corporate setting that then got me into the position of being a team lead.
That's interesting. So what skills from Townview and trade school have been most valuable in your career?
Learning to communicate, learning to speak well, and learning how to present yourself in a way that grabs people's attention and draws them in versus shying away. Learning how to be confident. When in my time in Townview, we got graded on our business apparel, and so I still keep that with me on, again, showing up and looking professional, whether you feel like it or not.
Okay, and what do you think are some of the best ways to stay confident and professional at the same time?
I think knowing, doing your research on what it is that you're applying for. If it's something that you're really passionate about, doing your research on what kind of people that they expect, what kind of standards they have. But then also, too, again, first impressions always matter. So always keeping business profession in the front of your mind, using your manners, and just speaking well, and starting and ending any interview with a firm handshake.
As a spa team lead, what does a typical day in the life look like for you?
So I usually start early in the morning. I'm usually one of the first ones there. I make sure that my team has what they need to succeed for the day. I check in, I check schedules, I make sure that, the spa is nice and clean and that customers are getting the best customer service that they can. I also perform services, so I do massage while I'm there as well. And then at the end of the day, I just make sure that closing duties are jump started and that everything is ready and set for the next day.
So I'm sure you face many challenges in your career. How did you overcome them?
Perseverance. So even though you may have confidence, knowing that you can do something hard for a season and then that season change really is my light at the end of the tunnel. So that's something that I tell myself is I can do hard things for a season and then the season will change. So just like school, just like education, just like everything else in life, if you can get through it for a season, then the season will change and you can look forward to what's next.
Okay, and how has owning a business changed the way you manage a team?
So owning my own business helps me to kind of see the small details in things. Details are really important sometimes, and sometimes people just like to sweep them under the rug. But when you own your own business, when you know your own business, you know the small things that help a business run efficiently and the small things that need to be paid attention to versus swept under the rug.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of compliments from you, and honestly, I'd be proud of myself. So, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
Well, I don't ever let my circumstances define where I'm going or where I plan to be in the future. And so I've had some hard life stuff like being a single parent, but a big accomplishment is I just signed on my first house. So I get to provide that for my family and then just advancing my career and being seen as a pioneer in kind of my field.
So during all these troubles and struggles, how do you stay motivated and to continue to grow?
Again, like hard stuff happens and then the seasons change. So it's kind of like putting small rewards along the way. So even if, say for instance, like you're on a tight budget for a Starbucks coffee every once in a while, budget for, just those small things that still bring you joy even when you are in the midst of a hard season.
And then since you were talking about how after going into trade school, you were kind of burnt out with high school and everything. Do you think your mindset has changed of, only going through things for a season? How did you get to that point in your life?
So it hasn't changed my mindset, but because of the trade school, my timeline of things kind of changed a little bit. So looking at a timeline and saying, I can do this for 6 months versus 6 years is a whole different thing. So it's kind of like looking at the path you want to be on, how you want to get there, and then looking at the different ways or journeys that you can take to get there. So it hasn't necessarily changed my perspective, but it's changed the way that you go about doing it.
Okay. And then how do you see trade and hospitality industry changing for future professionals?
I think the trades are going to become a bigger part of the way that people propel in the future. Not too far back in my day, college was pushed so much, but electricians are tradesmen, nail techs are tradesmen, HVAC systems are all trades, welding, building, all of those things are all in the trades. And so I think that you're going to see a lot more people going through trades and going through technical schools versus colleges for those hands-on careers.
So with Townview having many extracurriculars and opportunities, what opportunities should current Townview students take advantage of while they're here?
They should take advantage, I think, of all the different magnets. I think that that's one area that if I could have explored it a little bit more, I may have jump-started my career a little bit sooner. So even if you're a business magnet student, knowing the other trades or knowing about the science and engineering magnet or knowing about the education and social services magnet, like all of those things can actually translate into a business. And so knowing the inner workings of all of that is really important.
And what advice would you give to students who want to go to trade school and to start their own business?
I would suggest finding an internship now. There are lots of trades that by the time you graduate and turn 18, you can get your licensure. So if next summer you decide that you're interested in being an electrician, you can start the courses now while you're in high school so that the day you turn 18 and the day you graduate, you can get that trade school and go right into school.
Everything that you've mentioned so far is just so impressive to me. Completely impressive. I got to know what your personal motto is. Like, what's your personal motto that you live by day to day?
Let's see. Personal motto that I live by day to day is, work hard, put your best foot forward, and tomorrow's a new day, so we can always start fresh.
Okay. And this is a little more comedic, but would you invite us to the spa?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. We've got all. Well, I don't know about for okay, but we do have a great summer program that also encourages high school students as well. So there are certain areas in the spa that you would be welcome and encouraged to apply to. So if you ever need a good word, just let me know.
Okay. We'll be utilizing that.
Okay, and for our signature question, if you could give your high school self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be to do a summer internship. Whether you're scared of it, whether you feel like it's something that you want to do or not, or don't want to do, you never know what you're gonna fall in love with or what you're really gonna enjoy doing until you try. So I always have a 90-day policy. Do something for 90 days, and if you love it, continue with it. If you don't, it's okay to move on.
Has your 90-day policy helped you out with any big life choices?
It has. In the corporate world, you usually have a 90-day policy on if you want to stay with a job. So kind of giving yourself the grace period of, I can do this for 90 days, and if I don't like it, I can move on. Or in 90 days, okay, I'm locked in and I'm ready to start this journey of this new career path.
Well, thank you, Ms. Long, so much for sharing your journey with us from Townview all the way to trade school to starting your own business. We thank you for sharing your journey with us. This really shows that your story, that the drive to create and lead can begin right here at SBM. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning into our SBM 50 and TMC Alumni Series, where we celebrate Townview graduates who continue to break barriers and inspire the next generation of business leaders. Until next time, this has been KSBM Radio, the Voice of Townview.
Stay awesome.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the Voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add them on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook.
Take care.